a lot of the comments are saying things along these same lines. I promise, just because guys are focused on looks does not mean that girls are. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you're a 10. Nobody cares if you have a six-pack. Nobody cares if you're 6 foot. Nobody cares how much money you make. Flowers are like $4 at Trader Joe's. So if you think any of these things are the reason that you're single, I just really need you to do some introspective work, because it's probably not that. It's probably something else about you.
Let's talk about the myth that women only go for the top 10 to 20% of hot guys in the dating world, or whatever stupid statistic is being tossed around. Because no, just no, at least not with grown-ass women. Number one, the hottest guys on the dating apps, at least, are pretty much always catfish. I swipe right past them. I don't bother. And number two, I have no interest in being yet another option standing in line for a dude's attention. I will always go for the average guy anytime, any day, and most women will say the same exact thing. So that's where I think the dating apps can actually be good for the average guy, if you think about it, because he blends in, right? He blends in with the crowd because he's average. He doesn't get noticed walking down a street. But when you put his picture, just his picture alone, in front of a woman and you force her to focus on him, she now can actually notice him. Maybe he has nice eyes. Maybe he has a nice smile. Look at those broad shoulders. He looks like he gives great hugs. He looks like he would make me feel safe. Guess what? Any of that stuff, all of that stuff takes average to pretty damn hot. So yeah, ripped bodies and chiseled jawlines may be nice to look at, but they're actually pretty boring.
I've seen so many men say that women have these impossible standards on dating apps. You'll see people immediately jump to the conclusion that, like, oh, women only want the top 10% of men. And I feel like with dating apps specifically, the answer is so simple. When you're using a dating app, especially as a woman, if you were choosing to actually meet up with someone, there are so many inherent risks involved. Not just like a bad date type of risk, like your safety is in danger. So if you're a woman on a dating app, that affects your risk-reward calculation, cost-benefit analysis. You're probably only going to take that risk and meet a stranger. If you're thinking to yourself, wow, this is the best person ever, I don't want to miss this opportunity. There is a higher bar, a higher standard because of that risk involved. So someone who women might have given a chance in person, sort of a let's see where this goes scenario, are probably going to get screened out. Not even just safety, it's a lot of effort, time. You can't judge their intentions other than like their bio. So for a lot of people, when they're considering whether or not they want to take that risk, take a risk for their personal safety. That risk is only going to seem worth it if they're really, really attracted or interested in that person. They have to be attractive enough to overcome that risk. So of course your standards are probably going to be higher than they would be in person because it's a dating app.
That woman is the prize.
Men are the prize because men have to bring way more to the table than women do to get a relationship. So therefore we are the prize.
No.
Absolutely.
No, that's not true.
Do you find most men attractive or unattractive?
Unattractive.
So would it be fair to say that you're picky?
Yes, very.
Okay. So if you find that guy, would it be fair to say that he's probably in the top 1 or 2% of men?
Mm-hmm.
By definition, he's the prize.
What pisses me off is the discourse around how women only go for the top 15% of men. Like, am I supposed to be going for the fat loser who doesn't have a job and lives at home? Am I supposed to be attracted to that? Obviously, I'm going to be attracted to the guy who's ambitious, the guy who's manly, the guy who takes care of himself and his health and works out, the guy who's tall, the guy who's going to give my kids good genetics. Why on earth would I be attracted to the fat loser? Or any loser for that matter. Even an average guy. Like, why, if I could pick the best of the best, why would I be attracted to the mid-tier? Like, hello. Especially if I'm a top quality girl. What happened to earning your place in this world? You're gonna be a loser in this life and then expect people to want you? Like, that's just common sense that that's not going to happen. Like, if I was fat and ugly, I would not be surprised that men are not going for me and instead they want the girls who are fit and beautiful. Like, I didn't earn to be on their level. I didn't earn to be wanted like that. So maybe instead of complaining that women only want the top 15%, work on becoming top 15% or somewhere near that number instead of sitting at home being a loser, trying to be a little victim.
Okay, I have a question for the girls and I need genuine answer. Like, please be honest with me. Okay, so let's say you have two guys. This guy is like a 10 out of 10. Perfect. He's literally, mind you, 10 out of 10. However, he is your height. I don't care what height you are, he's your height. Yeah, so there's that. Then number two, there's this guy who's maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. The missing 2.5 is like either he's not your like physical type in terms of like his face, just his face, and maybe his body. He doesn't have a good fashion sense, or maybe he's lacking a little personality from that 2.5, or his manner. But he's tall. He's tall. He's like the ideal type of tall. Obviously, like not too tall. Okay, out of those two guys, which one would you choose? Because for me, I think I would choose the tall guy. Of course, only if he's willing to work through that 2.5 missing point. If it's personality shit, oh no, I'm not choosing. The point being, I think I would choose a tall guy, and I think it now makes sense why all girls are just going for tall guys. But also, like, I tend to be on the taller side, so it makes sense for me.
Does that parse for you? Like,
yeah.
So for example, if a guy's trying to get laid,
yeah,
like he just wants quick sex, he'll lower his standards.
Sure.
Whereas women, if they want to just get sex, they'll actually typically, they're not going to lower their standards looks-wise. They're going to raise their standards looks-wise. They're going to be like, well, if I just want casual sex, I want it to be the hottest guy I can get it. Whereas for a relationship, they might recognize, well, I can't get that hot guy into a relationship because he just wants sex. So I have to be more realistic when it comes to the physical attractiveness of a long-term partner. Does that make
Yeah, that's
sense?
fair. But I don't know that again, this isn't going to apply to every woman, but like, I feel like if I wanted sex, I would go for someone who I felt was in my league and or above, you know?
Yeah, so the most beautiful men on planet Earth, right?
For sure.
Tens, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, after discussing, I lowered my number, okay? So don't shit on me.
But I'm just saying, from the perspective of a woman who says, I'm a 10, they say, well, I'm going to go out and get a guy who's in my league. That's every guy who exists, right?
Sure. But I do think after hearing all this discussion, like, I think there is one thing to admitting or saying out loud that you're a 10 and then actually internalizing that and feeling that way. It seems like more women just ask the question, like myself, would say, yeah, I'm a 10, but then realistically in their everyday lives, I don't think they actually...
Neither do we. We think the exact same thing.
Well, no, not
so
that
we're saying the exact same thing, right? Is that, yeah, you're correct that most women will identify themselves at an outrageously high number, 8, 9, 10, something in this category. But I don't think that they're being honest. And when you start to reduce why they're not being honest, you start to recognize these kinds of patterns that it has more to do with how I feel, more to do with how I want to present, more to do with that than how they actually think they rate compared to other women.
Right. So then if that's the case, I don't know that everyone would delusionally go after the most attractive guy. Does that make sense?
Right. But that would make our point for us. It'd be saying, so if you weren't going after the most attractive guys, but you're going for whatever was in your league, then this idea that you were a 10 and amongst the most beautiful on planet Earth clearly can't be the case. So that's the point, right?
No, and I think I got around to the point.
But you did mention the patriarchy, so why don't we go into that? What is the patriarchy?
The system of beliefs held by men who are, overly in power, to basically just set their standard of what society should be. Based off their beliefs of,
Are they in power because they're men?
80% of men are deemed unattractive by women online, on Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, seeking arrangements, whatever the on dating
top
things.
10%.
They are, I wouldn't even recognize his existence, right?
Yeah.